I was like, bold. We're live. I probably ought to quit talking to y'all. All right, gang. Y'all are in for a treat. My man David's going to teach us on how to invest and get rich immediately. It's guaranteed success, he said, Ken. 100% guaranteed, or he'll give you your money back for what you paid to come here today. How much did you pay to come here today? $3.99. So you're going to get your money back. Free 99. You guys slow down, man. I like that. Free 99. Okay, you'll get that back if you don't invest like he does. I'm kidding. For everybody that's online, that's all they're gonna hear. They're gonna hang up. They're guaranteeing. I knew those people had problems. But David's been doing real estate investing since 2018. He did that before he did real estate, which gets me all types of fired up. Because he was like, "Hey, I'm gonna do it here first." And now he's over here. He's helping crush it with the Ace team. He's got a girlfriend. He's got a dog, or is it a cat? Got a dog. What's your dog's name? Misu. Like tiramisu. Okay, so apparently David loves dessert. So if he does a great job today, would y'all take him out for dessert afterwards? BJ's got good dessert down the road. I know there's another dessert place down the road. Just make sure you get him some dessert if he did a good job. Is that okay with you? What's your name? Yoshi. Who invited you out here today, Yoshi? Daniel. How do you know Daniel? Through real estate? Okay. All right. Well, hold on because David's going to come up here and knock your socks off. Okay. Could y'all just do me a favor? Y'all going to be sitting for 45 minutes. Can we just stand and give the man a hand? 1, 2, 3. Give him a hand. Woo! David.
Hello, everyone. How's it going? Thank you so much for coming out today. For those that don't know me, my name is David Fan. I'm a full-time real estate investor and agent. I've been doing it since 2018, and today we're kind of going to be talking about different investment strategies. I'm going to stick to the residential, a little bit of the more general side, so you guys can kind of see my own process. So everything that I'm talking about today, I've personally done myself. And so pre-medicine to real estate, finding the right investment path, various investment strategies to start building wealth and cash flow through real estate investing. So before we start, is anybody currently investing in residential real estate? Show of hands. Awesome. I would love to hear from one of you what your current strategy is and why. Brandon. That's awesome. I guess what's your short-term or long-term goal when you were looking to get that investment?
Honestly, looking towards long term, and I just wanted to get one under the belt, and it just happened to fall on my lap per se. Long term, what I want to do is eventually do like a cash out refinance and go purchase other properties.
Great strategy.
Keep it long enough to where if I 1031 it, or buy other stuff. So I'm playing long term.
That's awesome. This is a man of knowledge right here. he has the strategies down. But yes, that's the one things that we're going to talk about too is just the execution, right? So could we go to the next slide, please? Or am I going to click it myself? That works too. Okay, so a little bit about me. I was born in Lubbock, Texas. I've been all over the place, but I grew up in Queens, New York. I went to Stony Brook University, got my biology degree, and I was actually trying to go to pre-med. Being a doctor was my original dream. And I came to Texas. I worked at JPS, I worked at Baylor Liver Transplant Clinic, and I had a complete change of mind and ended up going into medical sales. I was managing Texas and New York territories. I was a top producer. Ooh, it's gone. Okay. I was a top producer, and I was very fortunate in coming in contact with some of my major partners today. And I'll kind of explain why I think just building relationships, building the network is going to be extremely beneficial when it comes to investments, because I wouldn't have been able to do it without them. And so I went into full-time real estate investing. I got my license in 2022. I'm currently part of the Texas Ace team, and we do production. And my goal was actually to make passive income and obtain financial freedom. Does anybody know what that means? So to me, what that means is being able to spend time with family, right? Being able to enjoy the things in life without having to actively put in a bunch of hours, driving everywhere. And so that's like my ultimate goal, right, when it comes to investments. And so why I chose investing. And like I just mentioned, more time for family and enjoyment. I realized that investing can create long-term wealth and monthly cash flow. And there are just so many strategies, guys, and I'm gonna cover some of the strategies that I've personally done and just show you my process. And real estate, no matter what, you can always invest in crypto, you can invest in stocks, put it in your long-term 401s, but real estate is a hard asset. And at the end of the day, with hard assets, there's a lot of potential, and real estate is always growing, some way, somehow. It's always growing. Relationships and partnerships create new potential and deals. I'm a big, big believer of networking, big believer of partnerships. I think meeting the right people can elevate your career, can really push you further towards your next goal. And I'm a true believer of that. So choosing the right investment strategy for you. I do a lot of investment consulting, especially when it comes to my clients. The question that I get asked the most is, hey, David, I saw this YouTube video. It says that Airbnb can make me rich super quick. It looks really easy. I just put it on Airbnb. I get a lot of money. I'm like, okay, great. How? Right? What's the process? Or do they talk about the numbers or even the risks involved? Right? So a lot of times we see a lot of just beautiful things on social media talking about the different strategies, but it's not all just rainbows and butterflies. And I've personally done a bunch of them to kind of share with you my experiences too. And so my question to my clients and people that always ask me is, what amount of capital do you currently have, right? Do you have a lot of money? Are you a high earner W-2? Or are you just starting out? Did you just leave your job? Did you get laid off? You're trying to focus on your next big thing. How much time do you have? Do you have a big family? Or are you just single? You're trying to grind, right? You're trying to learn. Some strategies require a lot more knowledge than others. And what allows you to sleep at night? Everyone has a different risk tolerance. Some people can't sleep if they have $2 in penny stocks, right? Or some people can sleep when they have millions of dollars in crypto. So everyone is a little bit different. Overall goals. The main thoughts is fast cash flow or long-term wealth. And those can go hand in hand, but it also will depend on the strategy you use. And when it comes to rentals, long-term rentals, those are a little bit more of the long-term. Fast can be flipping. It can be, doing the burrs actually is considered a form of fast cash flow too. And so we'll kind of get into that too. Example scenarios. I know it's a lot of reading, but first of all, I have less than 10K, but lots of time to hustle. Some things I would recommend would be house hacking, right? Renting out the bedrooms in your current house, maybe furnishing it, just getting some kind of income stream coming in with something that you already own. It's one of the easiest strategies to implement. You're your own landlord. You may have some roommates, but it's a good way to get started. Wholesaling, flipping contracts, joint ventures, right? Partnering with investors. Another scenario would be if I have 150 to 300K, or if you have a bunch of money sitting in a self-directed IRA, your retirement accounts, and you want low risk passive income. I'm a big, big believer of private money lending, something I'll go into as well, something that I've actually done the most and is my favorite. And turnkey rentals with property management, just to keep passive. It's not always going to be fully passive, right? You kind of have to be on top of the property management, but it's one way to be a little bit more hands off as long as you get something that doesn't require too much work. Another one is I want high returns and I have a strong appetite for risk. So, fix and flipping, it's going to be a little bit more strategic, a little bit more higher risk. You have to be conservative with your numbers. STR, MTR, it's higher risk than long-term rental. You have to furnish it. The occupancy might be higher. So, just really just talking about the different scenarios, right? And not every strategy will work for everyone, which is why it's important to kind of know your avatar, right? What fits your personality or your short-term and long-term goals. And so another one is I have access to investors and I want to create real estate deals. So syndications, capital raising, structuring partnerships. If you're someone like me, if you're someone like me that presses buttons incorrectly all the time, but if you're someone like me that loves to talk to people, right? You really like to form that relationship, build connections, build trust. I would highly recommend doing something like capital raising, which I do right now. And it's just seeing a method where we all grow together, right? And that's the main goal as well. So early process of how I got started. So I actually Airbnb'd out my second bedroom in my uptown condo starting in 2018. It was a journey, and I'll get more into that in a little bit. I had my first rental property in Forney. It was a new build built in 2019. It's actually listed on market right now in the top left corner because my tenant is finally leaving after 3 years. And I also did wholesaling, making money without owning property, right? Flipping contracts. Does anybody know what wholesaling is in a nutshell? Okay, yeah. So wholesaling is pretty much you can do an assignment of contract, right? And you assign the rights to the end buyer. So you're pretty much flipping for a fee to that end buyer. And I did my first wholesale on a property, the one in the middle, 75229 was the zip code in North Dallas. And then I did my first fix and flip in Wiley in 2021, which was also a big headache and a lot of stress and barely made any money, but it was a good learning experience. Section 8 rentals, my bread and butter right now, targeting new builds with high rent numbers, started in 2019, and then private money lending, monthly cash flow. And it was the one strategy that allowed me to fully quit my W-2 and be closer to that passive path that I'm kind of talking about right now. So that's my condo in the top right. It had a fountain. They actually completely tore that out. It's not there anymore. I'm very sad about that. So yes, I furnished the entire property. I lived in one bedroom, and I rented out the other one. I did all the cleaning myself, all the pricing. And this is when Airbnb kind of first came out, and no one really knew how to do it properly. And so it was a lot of trial and error. I had people cooking in my home. They brought a barbecue grill. There was oil all over the place. And so every time someone made a mistake, I put new rules in the thing. I showed somebody my booklet recently. They're like, "Oh my God, you look very, very anal about, excuse my language, about the rules." But it's also because I lived there, pretty much having different partners or roommates all the time. But yeah, so I became a super host. Currently, we're still operating multiple units, and this one is actually rental arbitrage in Frisco that's still operating. And I'm a big firm believer of focusing on midterm versus short-term rentals. Does anybody know the difference for those? So short-term rental is anything less than 30 days. Midterm rentals is anything 30 days plus, but less than 1 year. Midterm rentals typically come from insurance claims, traveling professionals, travel nurses, very different demographic, but a lot of the times they need a furnished home, right? They don't want to spend the time to get something and furnish it later. And so the payouts, the premiums are fairly attractive when it comes to these, right? Sometimes the companies pay, sometimes the insurance pays. And so I'm a big firm believer on that. The most important thing about these strategies is really understanding the market and the prime location. Not every location or place will be perfect for Airbnb. I have people asking me if Airbnb will work in a place like Forney. It could. I wouldn't recommend it, right? It's a little bit farther from the main city, from airport. You might have people that need somewhere to live displaced, but when you're talking about long term, just thought and risk mitigation, you want to focus on prime markets, right? North Dallas, Fort Worth, North Fort Worth, somewhere close to DFW Airport, just something that has an extra amenity or value. And if a property has an amenity or extra value, it'll be even better. As you can see, this one has a theater. People love that. People love the movie theater. The pool, also great. The rental arbitrage is pretty much we sublease from the landlord. We furnish the property, and then we put it on the market for our own clients, right? Airbnb, VRBO, whatever platform. And it's a method that's been working pretty well. We actually have another one coming up in Las Colinas in about 3 months. So we signed a 5-year lease on that one. Yes. And then, so Section 8, this is one property in Forney, and this is one property that we just purchased in Lavon. Also, by we, I'm actually talking about my mom. She's one of my partners too, and she's been a very crucial part of our business too. So stable cash flow, Section 8, it comes from government-backed rent, and it ensures consistent low-risk income. For Section 8 tenants, what we've seen is that they actually do want to stay in the house, and they actually do want to take care of the house a lot of times because it's difficult to get vouchers. And in thus doing so, they stay for a long time. They want their kids to go to school there. They want them to kind of grow up in the neighborhood. And so luckily for me, I'm not going to say for everybody, but our properties have been okay. I do a lot of due diligence on them. I'm my own property manager. And so we just make sure that everything is still functioning well over time. And you can also increase the rents as well for Section 8. Demand long-term tenants reduce vacancies and turnover costs, maximizing returns. Strategic property selection and rent adjustments within Section 8 limits can boost profitability. What this means is every housing authority, they come out with a piece of paper, right? And it gives you the payment standard for different zip codes all around DFW. Depending on the zip code and the number of bedrooms, they give you the cap rent for that market. What you can do is you could purchase a property in that market. Can't promise that it's always going to hit cap rent. They'll negotiate down, but you could do things like adding an extra bedroom. You could do things like getting something turnkey so that it's one of the nicer properties in the neighborhood so that you can hit higher rents for Section 8. There's a lot of strategies that go into that too. So passive, private money lending and passive income strategy. The house on the top left was actually my first lend. My partner, Xavier Chow, he's actually my mentor and the one that got me into real estate investment as a whole. And I put in, 50K. I was getting like 8% interest at the time. It was pretty solid. That's about $500 a month. I was pretty happy. I was like, okay, I can make money without doing anything at all, right? I would walk the property, but it's the only thing that was kind of passive at that time. And then after I liked it, I actually put more money into this property. This is Willow. All of these are North Dallas flips and builds. And I was getting more interest now that I understood how to mitigate my risk. And that's how I just continuously started to do private money lending, became a private money partner. And there's a lot of strategies that go into that too. Structuring the deals and mitigating risk. From a private money lending standpoint, you kind of act like a lender, right? You think of yourself as a lender. So now that comes actually underwriting properties, figuring out how to secure yourself in these loans so that you can still have some kind of position to get your money back, right? People always borrow money. How do you secure that money if something does go wrong? So, you could do first liens, second liens, you could do collateral, and a lot of the process is actually very similar to an actual bank. And so you consider yourself as the bank. Best part is the roof breaks, not your problem, right? If the tenant or if the project goes bad, also not your problem. You get the interest payments every month, no matter what. So one strategy that I really like. So raising capital and luxury. This is something that I put a lot of my focus in right now and what I do mostly. So high profit potential. Luxury new construction offers strong margins and a high-end buyer demand. You'll see a lot of flips all throughout DFW. A lot of them are now sitting a little bit longer, right? The DOMs are a little bit higher. For the luxury markets, with my partner Xavier, a lot of our houses are actually getting pre-sold. About 2 to 3 offers prior to listing, and then at most, I think our DOM was 5 to 7 days. And it's because luxury market, people got money, right? The interest rates don't affect them as much. They like the nicer homes. To them, it's still cheaper than places like California and New York. So there's been a lot of potential when it comes to the luxury market, which is pretty much what we focus on for everything, including the short-term rentals, the flips, builds. Yes. Capital partner and deal structuring. Focus on raising funds and structuring deals. Did you know that you can actually get paid for structuring a deal and putting people together? You can play what's called a connector. If you have good relationships, if you find capital and you put the deal together, you can actually negotiate fees. You can negotiate equity splits because the deal wouldn't have happened without you. That changed a lot of things about my mindset because I love talking to people, right? I love meeting people and helping people out. So putting people together and potentially getting paid for it sounds pretty nice to me. Scaling and community growth, leveraging capital to expand projects while fostering long-term investor relationships. The whole idea is that we all grow as a community, right? If we have partners, if we have investors, people in We Partners Network, our whole idea is just growth. If we can help each other out, if we could do deals together, or just even learn from one another to scale our potential business, I think that's the overall goal for everything that we do. And so raising capital has been a very enlightening experience for me, and I'm glad that I learned it. So if anyone has any questions about raising capital, I'd be more than happy to kind of dive into it more too. Now, building relationships and network, pretty much what I've been talking about this entire time, but opportunities come from people. Deals, funding, and partnerships stem from strong relationships. how would you get a cheap house off market if you didn't talk to the person that owns it? Where does that deal come from? Where does that deal come from if you didn't talk to the wholesaler that talked to the owner that did it? Why would the wholesaler choose you unless your offer was really good? Relationships. Relationships is the key to kind of be on top, right? Strategize yourself to be in a very strong market. Expand your network. Attend real estate events, conferences, and investor meetups to connect with industry professionals. I have some pictures of me meeting Pace Morby. I don't know if you guys know Pace. I went to BPCon in 2023. This was in Miami at the JW, very nice hotel, and I met a bunch of people there. I went with the one mindset of just learning, meeting people, and potentially growing. I still talk to a lot of people that I met there. They've given me amazing ideas and nuggets for just marketing strategies and how to structure or things to look out for. And we're still talking to them all the time, and we're trying to do deals with them too. So you never know who you're going to meet, right? At this event, at a We Partners event, right? Daniel does a lot of mixers, and so yes. And if you guys don't know, Pace has like his own community. His whole thing is creative finance and subject to, and he scaled quite large for the things that he's done using creative finance. So learning from experienced investors, gain insights, avoid costly mistakes, and explore potential partnerships by building relations with seasoned investors. A lot of people start off in the field new, right? And it really does suck to kind of go through the trial and error without having somebody to maybe hold your hand or guide you throughout the process. I was one of those people that try to figure it out on my own and just kept falling, try to figure it out. But after partnering, I realized, okay, this could be a lot simpler. People that have it more tried and true, you can always just follow something that's already been done before. People that know the risks and things involved. At the end of the day, you want to protect your capital, right, as investors. Talk about real estate. Simply discussing your interests and it can lead to unexpected opportunities and valuable connections. Go out, right? Just go out all the time. Have dinners, right? Go to restaurants. Go to your neighborhood community events. Talk to your friends. You never know. Somebody might be your next partner. Somebody might be able to take you to that next step as well. So some strategies that I've learned and the lessons that I've learned. I realized that what fits my goals the most is doing midterm rental, private money lending, and capital raising. And so, when we talk about my first flip, I'll give you some of the numbers, right? We purchased at a great price. The net profit was supposed to be, I think, 60K, timeline 3 months. Plumbing broke, pipes burst, buyer inspections came back not good enough. And so after a whole bunch of ordeal and maybe just us not calculating conservatively enough, probably net like 10K after doing all of that on all the hard work and stuff. And we could do real estate transactions and do 10K. So a lot of the time it's just tried and true, whatever fits you. And ideally you want to partner with someone that maybe has done it before, right? And so MTR is one that fits my goals too, because I would consider it medium risk, right? Long-term rental is considered the lowest risk. You have a stable 12-month tenant. You don't have to furnish anything, and you can have a property manager just kind of letting everything automate. Short-term rental, I would say, is the highest risk. You have to furnish it, you have to list it, you have to optimize the property, you have to market it properly. Advertising, you have to make sure that you fit the tenant's demands, right? You're essentially operating a hotel. You're no longer just operating a rental. I've had calls at 3 a.m. asking for towels. I've had calls at 2:30 a.m. saying, hey, how come the garage door doesn't work? So, it's a hotel business. MTR is a good happy medium for that, and it makes me happy, right? People stay for maybe 1 month, maybe they do a month to month, and sometimes they even rent to 6 months, 8 months. We've had a tenant in this one. We've had a tenant in this one since October, midterm rental, and they've been extending pretty much every month because the work in their house hasn't started yet. And so when it starts, I think that's still another 3 months. And I will tell you the net or we'll talk about the gross. The gross for that is actually about 8,500 a month. Yeah, just for the MTR rental. So it's one of my favorite strategies. All right, and then capital raising, of course, we're always doing different types of projects. When it comes to capital raising, it has been my favorite. I get to connect with people, I get to meet new people, kind of figure out people's goals and what they're looking for. You know, every investor wants different types of returns. And through our projects and different structures, and even my partners and other people in my network, their projects, we can always figure out what might work best for your situation. You know, and then lessons from my biggest mistakes. Don't over leverage my time. I felt like I was a man of many trades. I don't know if you saw that first slide. I was doing a lot of things at the same time, thinking that I could do it all. It was not the case. I feel like because I leveraged too much of my time doing multiple things, I was not able to really focus and hone in on certain skills that I would have needed for specific deals or specific requiremets, right? Just doing everything at once, thinking this is how the money is made. So I would highly recommend maybe doing 2 or 3, just kind of, you know, getting the feet wet, you know, execute on the deals. Don't do too much at once, but also learn in the process, right? Being conservative is your safety net. We always talk about being conservative, especially in investments, but this also means conservative on the amount of time that you think you'll spend, conservative on the costs, the even the partners that maybe you're talking to, right? Don't have high expectations. Try to make sure everything goes according to what you guys need to do for your business. The whole goal is to make sure that you're growing together. Find balance between analysis paralysis and rushing in. So, you know, it's a spectrum, and I felt like I was definitely on the rushing in side because I was just trying to do it all immediately, trying to make the most cash possible. Followed a lot of TikTok and Facebook and was just like, oh, this is easy. Let me just start flipping contracts. I'll tell you right now, it is not as easy as people say it is. There's a lot that goes into it. There's a lot of things that you'll encounter that you never knew that you even might encounter. And you know, it's important to also analyze, but don't get stuck, right? A lot of people to say that I'm going to invest, and then they spend 5 years researching how to do a long-term rental. They never buy a property because they're too scared. So find that balance, right? Getting your feet wet, doing the first step is the way to scale and grow. Absolutely. And then consistent action, education, and relationships are the keys to long-term success. So, like I said, always take the action, right? Take it according to your plans, execute, don't stray too far, follow your goals. And then, yep. And then we're at the Q&A and next steps. Does anybody have any questions? Yes. Mike? Or no mic?
Um,
Okay.
I talk pretty loud.
For the audience, we have like 10.
Okay, hi. Okay, when Pace Morby showed up, I just fangirl. It was great. I love that guy. So yeah, I want to know a little more about your capital raising and your connecting. Like, how do you figure out how you negotiate your fees? Do you have a certain standard that you go by? I mean, I would really like to know more about that because I do know a lot of people. I don't have any money yet, but I'm working on it. So, can you tie in your connectors to also like capital raising? Is that connected? You were like with your people, capital raising. Can you explain that, and then how that relates to being a connector?
Yeah. So as a cap. Oh, okay. Testing. Okay. Yeah. So you know, as a capital raiser, a lot of times our goal is to be the people person, right? And being the people so means that if you're structuring a deal and you're raising capital with people that want to invest either with you or somebody else's projects, and you're playing the connector in the middle, your goal is to also find a way that, you know, everybody gets paid, everyone is happy, but at the same time you're not killing the deal, right? I've met, you know, some capital raisers that are like, oh no, I won't do any capital, or I won't bring any people into the project unless I get a certain amount of split. It's understandable, but at the same time everyone has different, you know, vision. If you want the deal to happen, you should be okay at least making sure that maybe the first deal works out, and then you could do more deals in the future. I'm a big believer of that because I think even if you do one deal, maybe you don't make the most amount of money, but you build the trust, you build the relationship, and who knows, they might be the longest term partners, and now you guys are doing big things together, right? So I think it's also going to depend on the type of person that you work with. So like my partner Xavier, we've been friends for quite some time. So if we do have anything in contract, it'll just be like a simple agreement. Or usually for these bigger deals, it'll be in a JV or LLC structure, right? Everybody would form an entity, the money comes in, and then maybe your name, the builder or whatever, all the people, all the investors, everyone's in one LLC. The operating agreement will actually write out the terms for how people get paid, what's going on, who does what role, and that's usually how it's figured out. Of course, the conversations will be important to kind of make sure the deal works out for everybody. Yeah. A lot of different structures too. Like if we're talking into commercial syndications, it's gonna be quite different too, right? So it's a bigger scale. You have the LPs and GPs, and yeah. So
The contract that everybody signed on the deal, or it was, I mean, could it be that as well? Myriad of negotiations, I guess.
I see contracts as just an agreement, right? So technically, you can have any type of contract as long as it can be enforced. It could be a thing, right? So you can enforce a connector fee contract, right? I brought you this person. In doing so, I request this amount of fee, but it's really more about building the relationship at the end of the day, right? Figuring out if that contract will work for the entire group, the investors, and things like that. So, yeah, no problem. Yes, sir.
Can you go more into, I guess, like the MTRs? Like, how do you analyze it? Is it almost similar steps as you would a STR, where like Airbnb data? Do you list it on the same places? Like, how do you market an MTR compared to a STR?
So my strategy may vary from other people, but because I'm a more calculated guy, mitigated risk, I would never actually underwrite just for MTR for any property. So let's say City of Plano, right? City of Plano actually has a ban right now for new STRs. If you go into Plano thinking that, hey, I'm only going to do MTRs, what's going to happen if you're sitting vacant? What's your backup plan, right? And so for me, because we're always trying to mitigate risk, I always underwrite for multiple strategies. So we're talking about it has to be STR approved, it has to be MTR approved. If everything fails, all things break loose, can I do a furnished long-term rental? Will people still pay a premium? Will we break even from doing something like that? And so that's typically what I recommend my clients to. They're like, hey, I want to do MTR only. I'm like, are you sure? I would highly recommend looking at other strategies too, just in case something does happen. Or, worst come to worst, it doesn't rent, right? MTR is fully based on luck. How do you know someone's house in the neighborhood is going to break down and your house is the perfect fit? You don't, right? So a lot of times it's just kind of identifying what markets, right? What places would be ideal, underwrite for multiple strategies. Yeah, but when it comes to marketing and the different like locations, we put it all in the same places. We network with a lot of insurance companies, right? I'm talking about CRS, ALE. There's a couple others that I don't remember, but there's a lot of insurance companies. You can actually upload your property into their database, and so if one of the adjusters comes back like, we have a property in your neighborhood, they'll send out like a proposal to the tenant, and then you guys can negotiate the terms. The terms. Yeah. But yes, you can negotiate the terms. Please, okay. But yes, the terms, the pricing, the timeline, whatever. For these insurance companies, they'll also want the tenant to walk through the property first. So there's like a lot of specific nuances. Let's say they found you through Airbnb, right? You have to go through the platform. You can't really talk to them off platform, but there's a lot of different strategies. You can have them. Yeah, that's pretty much like the gist. No problem. Testing. Okay, sounds good. Did I answer all of your questions? Okay, no problem. But yeah, that was gonna be one of my questions to you guys too. If any of the topics pop out more to you than others, I'd be more than happy to do more informational specifically on one topic. Today is kind of like my entry to gauging, what everyone's experience is or what people are really looking into doing, at least for the residential side. And so if there is one topic, this is my QR code. It goes directly to my business card. Feel free to schedule a session with me on Calendly. Let me know if there's any topics, and I can go more in depth as well. Any other questions? Yes, sir. Yes. Absolutely. And it looks like Brandon is on track to doing that too. But it's pretty much you buy, you renovate, you rent, and then you refinance. And so the whole thought process for a BRRRR is that you purchase at like a fairly good deal, right? You renovate it in order to push and force appreciation on that property. By doing so, you can hit higher market comps for rentals as well as the property. When the time comes, you could pull the equity out by doing a cash out refinance. Ideally, the property value will be higher at that time because you did the renovations. So the cash out refi would be at the higher value. That property that you can now pocket, that's also still building equity because of the tenant in it. That cash you can now put into another property and rinse and recycle and repeat. Repeat was the last R, by the way. Yes. Sure.
What advice would you give a first-time home buyer, first-time investor,
Mhm.
especially when they're stuck in analysis paralysis, incomes, it's not cash flowing?
Mhm.
Today's market is hard to cash flow.
Yes.
What advice would you give them so they can pull the trigger or at least start to kind of dive into that investment?
Talk to me. I'm serious. Talk to me. Let's go over why you're having the fear, right? What's stopping you? And if LTR or if you're looking mainly for cash flow, what is that reason, right? Or if you have a high W-2, did you know that if you purchase a property, even if you're paying a little bit every month, your negative cash flow, sometimes the tax benefits outweigh the amount that you're paying for the property. So, let's figure it out together. That's going to be my advice. Mhm. Any other questions? Yes.
You got a lot of things going on, right?
Mhm. That's a great question. A lot of stress and a lot of just spending a lot of my time doing all these things at the same time. I do have a VA. We're trying to implement my VA more on the back end admin stuff. Before, she was actually just strictly cold calling for wholesale. And so I had a whole system and process going on where we would dial numbers from different states. We would contact investors and owners from all over the country pretty much, and we would JV with investors in those states to potentially flip contracts and kind of move forward into the next stage. But we're trying to have her do more client management, calendar management, things like reminders. A lot of my stuff is actually automated already for Airbnb. They can do direct messaging replies based on timeline, based on how they respond. It's become pretty advanced for that. Everything else I just do on my own. Excel sheet, just an old school, yeah. I know it's not gonna work forever, but it's been working for the meantime. It makes whatever I need to do easy, so I've just been sticking with it. But yeah. Any other questions?
Streamline any of your processes? Are you able to streamline AI to automate any of your processes?
I think AI implementation is great. I'm actually talking to some developers that have been working with me, just trying to get feedback on the different things that I do and how they can build a direct model on what I do. And so it could be, answering client questions. It could be the property management aspect where they have an entire platform. They could talk to an AI assistant that can handle, potential repairs, scheduling, things like that. Also have another person that I'm talking to that can potentially write contracts and help on that end as long as like the agent is overlooking. So, AI implementation, I think is the next big step. I constantly have ChatGPT open on one of my screens at all times. Upgraded version, $20 a month. It is incredible how much it can do. It can help me analyze properties as long as you can teach it properly, right? Don't always rely on it, but after they do it enough, after the AI does it enough, it actually learns your model, how your risk level is. You could teach it too. Ask it questions like, hey, learn that this is my risk level. My tolerance is that I need to, be able to cash flow this much. This market is a little bit more risky than this one. Teach it. Really like have it learn what you do and who you are. So ChatGPT is a big one, guys. Yes. That's right. Any other questions? All right. Well, thank you so much for your time. I don't know if I'm too slow or too quick right now, but perfect. Okay, that's good. But yes, thank you so much for coming again. Thank you. If anyone has any questions moving forward, feel free to reach out. In the meantime, I'd like to reintroduce Paul Roberts, one of the leaders in We Partners Network. He sold a business, is here now, living the dream.
Good job, David. Give him a hand. All right. So, does anybody know how to turn this on? Thank you for doing that, David. All right, so my name is Paul Roberts. Hi. Thank y'all. Interaction's good. I'm not real bright, so if I get stumbled up on something and I get stuck, feel free to yell the answer out. We're cool. Is that good? No, seriously. I'm gonna need some help out here. Every once in a while, I'll freeze right up, and I'm hearing a lot of this for the first time myself. So if y'all could help me along the process, that'd work. God bless you. Okay. So has anybody seen this? Oops. Who said it? Someone said it back here. What is that? The cash flow quadrant? Yes. How did you hear about it? The book? Which book? Yeah, it's Robert Kiyosaki's Rich. Who said that? Yeah, Rich Dad Poor Dad. I was 2004. 2005, I should say. A gentleman by the name of Fitz, who became my mentor in business and in life, told me that day in his office, the first day I'd ever met him, he goes, "You need to read Cash Flow Quadrant." And I was broke. I had no money to go buy the book. So I was like, yeah, whatever. I just ignored him. My wife was there with me. Somehow she bought the book for me. To this day, we're unsure of how she did it because we were broke. Like we were like no money. Like David, when you said you made $10,000 on that day, I was like, sweet. That's awesome. You made money, It wasn't negative because we were negative. Like we wish we were broke because broke is like zero, right? Like we were praying for broke, but we were like negative $400,000, $500,000. So it was a bit different. Okay. But she bought me that book and I read it and it forever changed my life. It got me thinking differently completely. Cash Flow Quadrant by Robert Kiyosaki. God bless you. Thank you. If I get one person to buy that book and start reading, I have done my job today because it will change your life. It'll radically change the way you look at everything. I kept thinking that what I was doing was the right thing, and I kept doing it over and over and over again because I love what David said at the very beginning. He says, my goal is financial freedom. What is that? Because it's different for everybody. So often we hear someone say, my goal is financial freedom. Well, I know it is, isn't it? Bullcrap. You don't know what their financial freedom is. You have no clue. What is their financial freedom? What is freedom to them? Sometimes freedom to somebody is just, hey, at the end of the month, I feel good. Got the bills paid. Kids are fed. My spouse is happy. I'm happy. I got a decent car. It's not in repossession. Boom, right? But that might be different for somebody else. So when you read a book like this, you start to really analyze yourself and go, okay, wait a minute. What is financial freedom to me? But before we talk about that, I want to talk about the greatest opportunity in the world, EXP. There's nothing better. We are the solution to everything. I was looking at my closet this morning. I was telling Scribner and Jennifer, I usually wear a button-down shirt when I speak, but I saw this shirt staring at me, speaking to me, talking to me. It said, bold. And I said, that's what I'm wearing today. Bold. Because that's the word for EXP this year. My word for 2025 was work, but then I switched it when I saw theirs was bold. I said, actually, it's not work, it's bold. It's time for you, Paul, to be bold. It's time for you to make bold moves in this industry. It's time to be bold. All right. Um, please understand what Glenn Sanford has built for us is the solution to literally everything. And I'm about to show it to you. And if y'all want to argue about it, we can do that. I'll probably win, but we can still argue. Okay. My mother raised me. If you met her, you'd say, after you hung out with her for about 30 minutes, you go, yeah, you're probably going to win every argument. Okay. Because I will. I'm telling you, this is the best opportunity out there when it comes to real estate. We are the creators of it. We are the builders of it. We are first to market on it. We are the Netflix of real estate. We are the Amazon. We are the Uber. We were first to market on all this. When you're first to market on it, we get to play around and have some fun. That means we got to kind of look at everybody and watch everybody make decisions trying to catch up with us. We go, oh, yeah, we tried that. You're going to go broke trying that. Because we tried that and it didn't work. And we've already tried this, right? So I hear this a lot. What about the personal producer, the doing transactions when it comes to EXP? Okay. I want to talk about the 4 pillars that I absolutely had to have, Jason, before I joined an organization. The first pillar is leads. Had to have leads. Okay. We have leads, but so many leads. But I want to talk about one thing in particular called KV Core. KV Core is a mammoth machine that produces leads while you're sleeping, while I'm talking to y'all. Like if you put your circle of influence in KV Core, it works for you. And if you're not making sales from that, you didn't put your people's name or number in there. You did something incorrect. You didn't download it correctly. Because I'm telling you, this machine is a machine. And it does it without you. Because you're like, well, I'll call them. No, you won't. And if you do call them, will you call them back the next day and remind them? No. But this machine will do it for you. Okay. Number 2, and very vital to everything you do, is education and training. Now, before I get into this, I got to preface some things. I don't care how great your education and training is. If you don't use it, it ain't going to work. I don't care how great the education and training is. If you don't have a big enough why for why you're doing it, it doesn't matter. It means nothing. So I'm going to share with y'all 2 whys of mine, okay? One's going to be like, ooh, that's a big why. I don't know if my why's that big. You know, maybe, but I'm also going to share one that's kind of vain. You know, V-E-A-I-N, vain, like, is that the right, or is that V-A-I-N? I probably should not spell in front of y'all. V-A-I-N? Okay, good. So one is going to be kind of vain, like looks and all that stuff. The other is going to be deep. Y'all with me? So don't get lost on the deep one and say, oh, God. Because your why right now might be to feed the kids. That was mine when I first started in 2004. Okay? So my big reason is on any given day, there's about 20 to 25 people looking at their phone right now wanting to call me. And they're in complete desperation. They know my story of overcoming alcoholism and drugs. They know how I was raised. And they're desperate right now. And they're looking at that phone and they desperately want to call me. And I guarantee you, several times they've had my name right there and they almost pressed it and they stopped. Some of them have. We've helped 20 people get sober. Some of them have. But see, I can't do anything till they call me. You can't make anybody do anything. They got to get to that ultimate point of frustration, and then they call me. Then I can help. Now, I want to expand that number to 100. I want 100 people to know my story. I want thousands of people to know my story. I want millions of people to know my story, to where I can be there for them that day they decide to make that phone call instead of taking their own life. Okay? That's a big why for me. And when I talked to Daniel and Calvin and Colin, and they told me what I could do here at EXP, and especially what I could do right here, and I'll share with you that in a second, I was like, oh, dear Lord, I'm going to be able to impact some people. Who do you want to impact? What do you want to impact? Here's probably one of the most important questions you need to ask yourself, and you probably ought to write it down tonight before you go to bed. What do you want people saying at your funeral? Well, what are they going to say about you? What are they going to talk about you? I would write it down if I were you. And if it's not where you are today, write down what they're going to say about you. Y'all with me? That's the impact that you'll make. See, if you don't have a dream and a reason to do something, you'll quit. You quit every time. But you got to have something way bigger than yourself, Anna, because if it's not bigger than you, the moment you decide to quit, you can quit. It's like if you're losing weight. If I don't tell nobody that I'm going to lose weight, well, I can eat pizza right in front of y'all. Y'all can't judge me because y'all have no idea that I just broke that goal. That I made to myself. I'm like, nah, I'm going to eat some pizza now. But if I tell you, hey, yo, I'm going to try to lose some weight up in here, and y'all are watching me, be like, oh, I can't eat that in front of everybody. Y'all with me? Now understand, I went from 245 pounds to 175 pounds. So I know what it's like to lose weight. Thank you. I understand that you got to tell everybody around you what you want to do. Otherwise, you can cheat on it all the time. But more importantly than that, what impact do you want to make? And tell other people. Tell people that are going to hold you to it. Tell people that are like, will hold you accountable and say, yo, you said you was going to do this, right? I tell everybody all the time what I'm going to do. I say it out loud. Do you know why? Does anybody want to take a wild guess why I say it out loud to as many people as I want to? Ken, you want to guess? Just take any guess. It doesn't matter. The manifestation. Words are powerful. I'm accountable. That's good. Accountable. I put a crap load of pressure on myself. That's what I do. When I tell everybody I'm going to do something, I'm like, See, I made a promise to my grandfather. I quit smoking when I turned 21 years old. I did. I made that promise to him. He was my hero in life. I made that promise to him and I did it. Okay. Tell people what you're going to do. Scare yourself. Frighten yourself. Stop playing small. Live big. But I haven't done that yet, so I don't want to say it. Just say it. I wish my good friend Trina was here. She's probably online listening right now. But Trina remembers when she first came to my office years ago, Daniel, I told her, I said, I make $45,000 a month. And she thought that was so cool. But I wasn't making $45,000 a month at that time. And then I had forgotten. I had told her that. We started making $75,000 a month. We legitimately started making $75,000 a month. And I told everybody that. And I said to her, I said, I was not making 45 when you came in here. I was maybe making 25 a month when you came in here. You see, I put that pressure on myself. I'm not going to lie to her. Now, if you have an issue with not committing to things, then you will be careful. You can say whatever you want to say. People are going to find you out. Then what are they going to say at your funeral? Think about what they're going to say at your funeral. Okay. So what's your dream? What is it? Now, here's the vain one. Okay. Because I don't want y'all to think, well, golly, his is deep. Remember, I'm 55 years old. I've had a lot of time to work on this. Y'all might not have as long, but again, you work into your why. Your why gets bigger the bigger you get. Okay. Let me tell you my vain one. Okay. For 15 years, Jennifer, I've been walking on stages and they've been playing my song. And I hear that song and I feel that song. And I'm feeling it right now. It's not even playing right now, but I can feel it. And I know what I get like tears coming out my eyes. They don't because I got to speak to everybody, but I can feel them. They're right there. They're about to come, right? They're about to happen. And when I talked to Daniel and Colin, I said, oh, yeah, I'm going to hear that song again because I will speak at the biggest EXP stages and people will hear my story and I'm going to hear that song, right? So it's okay to have a vain one. Don't make them all vain. Have some that are kind of deep, right? But that one's big, right? Okay. So those are vital to me using this. Is that making sense? Because some people come here and they're broken. Paul, you don't understand, I'm broken. I was broken in 2004 when I met Fitz. I was completely broken. Cars repossessed, house in foreclosure, completely broke. However, I knew I wanted to do something great. And because of that, I was able to take advantage of this. So if you're here and you're broken, talk to somebody. Find you a friend. See, Daniel Ng has built the most incredible group of people that will help you, that will love on you, that will talk to you, that will share with you, that will do anything with you. But you got to hang around them. And then you'll get out of your brokenness. I promise you will, if you hang around the right people. If you're always posting about your brokenness online, everybody that responds to you says, oh, it's okay, girl, you're going to be all right. It's okay, guy, you're going to be all right. Those ain't your people. It's the people that aren't talking on that Facebook that are your people. You got to find them. I promise you can find them here with what Daniel Ng's created. All right. So education and training. Now I want to give y'all something I've been training on for 20 years in the insurance business, but I saw a guy do this in real estate the other day, and I was like, this I got to train because this is simple, and this is all about you, right? He wrote up on the board. How do I erase this? Oh, I wanted to leave that there. I want y'all to look at that for hours and hours. We won't be here for hours, I promise. Just 6. But he wrote this up on the board, Daniel, and I was like, holy cow. Not Daniel wrote it, but this guy did, that Daniel introduced me to. And he says this. He said 1, 1.5, 2.5, 5, 25. And he said, what is the average commissions y'all make on selling a home here in real estate? And some people said 18,000, 12,000, 8,000, and we said let's just call it 10,000. Is that okay with everybody here? $1,000 about what the average commission you make from selling a home? Is that agreeable, or does anybody want to get an arm wrestling match with Scribner about that? No one wants to fight Scrib on that? Okay, good. So $10,000 is the average commission that you make in this business. And right when he showed that, Daniel, I was like, I know what he's about to show, because I got the same thing I showed in insurance, and it's identical. It's absolutely identical. It is viable to you to where you got to think about what you got to do. All right. So this is a sell. 1.5 is contracts. Now, Daniel, when he said that, was he also saying, was he meaning transactions? No, this is transaction. Yeah, contracts. So sometimes you get a contract in this business and it doesn't go through and you don't get paid. Am I right? Scribner, somebody, you talked about that last time I talked to you. He goes, yeah, I was right there. I felt it. I smelt the money. It was right there. Right? That happened? Is it only happening to Scrib? Anybody else have that? Oh, you just said it happened to you. Yeah, buyers backed out because they were upset that the pipes weren't working. What's wrong with people? Indoor plumbing. How dare they? So sometimes a contract doesn't equal commission, right? Okay, so then appointments / meetings. You got to have 2.5 appointments / meetings. And then the other was leads. You got to have 5 leads. And you got to have 25 talk-tos, right? So you got to have 25 talk-tos to get to 5 leads, to get to 2.5 appointments / meetings, to get to 1.5 contracts, to get to 1 sale. Y'all should be writing this down. I'm not kidding. Because when I put some numbers over here, you're going to be mad that you didn't write it down. You're going to be angry at yourself. 25 talk-tos. You got to talk to 25 people, right? In order to get 5 leads. Y'all with me? In order to get 2.5 appointments, to get 1.5 contracts, to get 1 sale, which equals $10,000. Pretty cool, huh? Then he broke down the math. What is each of these worth? And I said, oh, now you're talking my language. I remember this, right? So contracts, you take this, divide it by this, and it gives you 0.6666. I hate that number, so let's call 7. And that comes out to be 6,600 and something. I think Trina's texting me right now. I got to read it because I guarantee she just heard what I said. Yes, I'm listening. I love you, Trina. So 6,667, right? And actually her son, Jaden, was at the next meeting when I told everybody we're now officially making $75,000 every month into our bank account for the business built here. And her son followed me out to my car. And I figured I had a really cool Corvette. I figured he wanted to check out my Corvette. I'm going to show this young man how cool my car is, right? Vain. And he goes, so what's it like to make $75,000 a month? I was like, wow, you're listening. Like you're listening to what we're talking about in there. And he was only like 13, 14 at the time. That's impact, right? Now he believes he can do it because he has seen me dress. He has seen me speak. He has seen me spell, add. He's like, dear Lord, if he can do it, I can do it, right? Okay, so every contract is worth $6,667 to you. Does that make sense? Now you don't get paid for that, but that's what you need to look at. That's the vision you need to see for your life. And then you take 1.5 divided by 2.5, and that gives you 0.4. And you take 0.4 of 10,000, and that gives you 4,000. So every appointment that you sit on, every meeting you sit on, that is worth $4,000. Can you walk a little taller? Can you walk a little prouder saying, yep, every appointment I sit on worth 4,000. That's how good I am. Every appointment I sit on is worth 4,000. That's insane, right? That's absolutely insane. Now it gets better. It gets gooder. You take 2.5 to 5, and apparently that's 0.04. I had to cheat and do the math like this. That comes out to $2,000 for every lead that you get. Every lead you get, $2,000. Who in here has gotten a lead? You wrote it on a paper towel or a napkin, and you set it on your kitchen table, and you walked away and you did 5 other things. Thank you, Anna. She's the only honest person in here. Scrib's with you. Scrib and Anna do not need to go to church this Sunday. They just confess they're good to go. And all you other guys, you better get to church on Sunday because y'all just lied to me because we've all done it. Now, put it this way. You just set $2,000 on the counter. You just set $2,000 on the counter and walked away. So who's got $2,000 on them right now? I want you to set it right up here above my good friend Brittany. Just set it right here. She's a good person. She won't steal it. Just set it right here and walk away. Who wants to do that right now? Nobody, right? That's the way you got to look at it. All right. Lastly, and this is the big one. This is worth $400. You take this number divided by this number, and it gives you $400. I want you to think about this. Every person you talk to is worth $400. Can I get you to make a phone call a little differently now that you know this? Every time you make a phone call, can you think about it just a little differently? Like, hey, you know what? This call right here is worth $400, which is going to lead me to a $10,000 commission check. Right? My business, my old business, we did dials. We had to have, see, y'all don't have this issue that we had. You had to get 250 dials to just talk to 25 people. And by the way, those were leads that were $75 a piece. Leads that were $75 a piece, we had to call them, dial them 250 times to get to that point, right? That's insane. That's insane to think about. So, can you just think about it differently? Now, here's the one thing I want to ask you. Y'all ready? What up here can y'all control? Me? Anna, what'd you say? Everything? Scrib said everything. Anybody else take a guess at it? Talk to. There's only one thing you can control, and that's activity. This is the only thing you can control. Because I know that there's a critic in this room that's saying right now, those aren't my numbers. Well, guess what? You might not be as good as somebody else. You might need to do more of these. You with me? My numbers aren't equaling out to Sean's. We'll call more people. People would always ask me, how many dials does it take you to get to 25 appointments? As many as it takes. You feel me? As many as it takes. I can control that. I can't control. You had no idea the plumbing was bad in that house. No clue. Did y'all raise it up and that's when it all broke and went to hell? Weather? Next time, just stick with my story. So they lifted the thing up and it all went. I'm just kidding. But the weather knocked it out and burst the pipes and all that stuff. So you couldn't control that. He can't control the weather. You can't control when someone gets cold feet, that 0.5, and says, never mind, I don't want to buy a house. Ain't nothing you can do about it. What can you control? Talk tos. Maybe, just maybe, we need to talk to more people. Now, why am I showing you this? I'm giving you value right here. If you're not writing this down and living by this, you're in trouble. This is massive value. Because without this, that education and training, it don't do us no good. It's the best education and training in the world. We got FastCap now. Oh, my dear Lord. FastCap is phenomenal. Have you put any new people through FastCap yet? Please do. And the instructor that's teaching you right now, real good. I mean, extremely over the top good. I heard a lot of stuff when I came to EXP. They said things to me like this. You need to go to a traditional brokerage if you're new. Has anybody ever heard anybody ever told you that? If you're new, you need to go to traditional. They call it legacy now. I don't know what the difference is, but that's what I was told, traditional. And I was like, why is that? Training. You got to get trained. Well, the reason I picked EXP is because the abundance of on-demand training. I can train whatever I want to. I can train in non-making money hours whenever I want to. It's there for me. It exists. And that was before FastCap. And now we got FastCap. I'm like, oh, dear brother, you guys don't understand. I don't understand your traditional legacy world, whatever you're talking about. What I'm telling you is we got the best training in the world. This is by far the best place in the world for new people to come to and for existing people to come to. Because we got the education and training. It's ongoing. Who thinks education and training should be all the time? Like all the time. Like if you've been in here and you flipped homes, you learned something from David today. Right? You learned something. You don't know everything. In fact, David goes to training seminars. You went and saw Pace. He went and saw Pace. That's a weird name. Pace Morby. He went and saw that dude. I'm going to meet him in a couple weeks in Cabo. Should I tell him his name is weird? I should? Okay. I'm going to say, David told me to tell you. Here's his picture, David. I'm not going to fight you. David said he would, but is he bigger than me? I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Is he older than me? Because then I can just work it. Anyhow, so education training, we got it. It's there. I was talking about something else, though. Does anybody remember where I was going with that? I told y'all to pay attention. Education, learning. I think we're all on the same page. Okay, good. So, thank you, FastCap. That came back to me. So the FastCap puts your agent and puts you through a process. Week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, holds them accountable. If they do, is anybody on FastCap in here right now? Peggy is? Anybody else? You love it? Well, Austin's fantastic. That's what Carolyn says to me every time. She goes, he goes, I think he's good. You're going to like this guy. So you got to get enrolled in the next FastCap. Okay? Anyhow. I'll be done way before then. So she's concerned about missing Austin. I like that. No, I'm proud of you. That's good. You need to listen to him, not me. Okay. So we got the education and the training, but if you're not doing this, none of it matters. Okay. Commit to your activity. Like who in here, maybe you do want to raise your hand. Who in here can commit to this every week? Like, you change your life if you did. Like, I'm not kidding you. I threw this out Monday night. We have a team call on Monday night, and I threw it out to the team, and I said, who's willing to do this? And my good friend Angie, who just got her license, stood outside a Publix, or was in a Publix in Florida, and she got 5 names from doing that right there, 5 talk tos. She was the goal's 25. I got 20 more to go. She's brand new in this business. Now, she was a killer in insurance. Like, she crushed everybody over there. She's going to crush everybody over here, too. She's that good. You know what she said to everybody? Y'all want to know what you can say to people? Anybody? Y'all want me to say? You just go up to anybody. Hey, are you thinking about buying a home? Y'all with me so far? Thinking about selling a home? Or investing in a home? Y'all with me? Who can't say that a whole bunch of times to people that you don't know? That's pretty simple, right? Thinking about buying, selling, or investing. I'm telling you, do that. It'll radically change your life. Now, here we are. Everything I have described is in this world right here called self-employed. This is what the S stands for. This is employed, and many people are employed. They have employed jobs, okay? And that's great, and I love you for it. I ain't telling you to quit it. Maybe one day you get to a point where your financial freedom says I can quit, but that's up to you, okay? Our good buddy TC for 16 years was a real estate agent and had a full-time gig. That's pretty impressive. I don't know if I could wait that long. But that's good. That man's good. So, employed. This means you work for somebody. They tell you when to go to the bathroom. They tell you when to take vacation. They tell you everything. Y'all with me? I would like to think if you're here on a Wednesday afternoon, learning about how to flip homes, learning about business, that you have a bigger dream than that. Am I correct? Correct? Can I get an amen or something like? Whoa, yeah, okay, good. Now, here's the challenge, though, David, is people come here to self-employed, and they get all types of worked up, fired up, thinking they've made something. I'm self-employed, and I'm loving it. You shouldn't be. Because there's a big problem with self-employed. Massive problem with self-employed. Y'all ready? When self quits working, self is unemployed. Big problem. Big problem. Now self-employed is worse than being employed. Because you can be employed and quit working and still go to work every day. Y'all following me? Yeah, a lot of people are doing that. Like, hey, collecting me a paycheck. Right? So say employment's better at this point when self quits working. So you got to be careful. So Anna, you don't want to hang out here too long. You want to do this, no doubt. It's the next step to this. And I don't remember. I don't know if Kiyosaki ever says this, but it's hard to go from here to here. It's very difficult because your mind's not right just yet. But you go here to here, you can go here to here. But anyhow, so you want to be here, but what is self-employed? Y'all want to name out some things? Real estate agent, doing transactions. Self-employed, doing transactions. Flipping a home. Self-employed. Having 10, don't answer the question too quickly, slow down. Having 10 rental units, but you don't have a property manager. Is that self-employed? Self-employed. Okay, now let's change it. Having 8 rental units, but having a property manager. Business owner or self-employed? Business owner. Yeah, you moved a category because you ain't managing it every day. The moment you take yourself out, now you're building a business. And you want to build a business that grows with or without you. Daniel could take, and I think you did. You took 2 months off last year. You went somewhere, right? He went to Europe. That's right. That was just not that long ago. Wow. He went to Europe for 2 months. And when he came back, are y'all ready? Business was bigger. Who wants that? And I love that Peggy said everybody, but their actions, their activities not leading up to that. Because you got to do 25 talk tos if you want to get there. And Daniel will probably tell you probably need to do a few more than 25, right? Especially in the beginning, because you ain't that good, right? You're just not that good in the beginning. In the beginning, you're just horrible. I remember when I first started selling insurance, I'd call people up. They sent a lead to me. And I'd be like, hey, you sent this in. You want insurance? And everybody said no. It was so weird. I was like, you filled it out. But I was horrible. I was terrible, right? But I got gooder at it and gooder, and eventually, boom. But understand, you're not going to be that good in the beginning. Anyhow, so everybody says they want it, Peggy, but do their actions line up with what they say? That's the challenge, okay? So self-employed. I think we got the best self-employed gig in the world with Glenn Sanford. That man said to us on Monday, EXP is always in beta test. Always. I'm always making this thing better. He didn't say that, but I'm telling you that's what he's saying. When he says this thing's in beta test all the time, what he is saying, I make this thing better every day. Daily, I'm making this thing better. For us, he's giving us a solution. I forget a stat I read not too long ago, but like 71% of real estate agents didn't even make a sell in 2024. Is that the right number? I'll make something up real quick. If I said it wrong, stop me, okay? But I think that was it. 71%. 71.6% was the definite number. I know it. I'll fight you on it. I'm kidding. 71% of real estate agents didn't even make one sell last year. I made 3 last year, and I wasn't even trying to. I made 3 last year. I wasn't even trying to. I was trying to build a team. Why? What happened? Well, Glenn has built a solution for us. It's a plug and play. If you just show up, if you just talk to enough people, speak to enough people, you will get accidentally into transactions. It just will happen to you. You can't get away from it. Well, no, I've been trying it. Have you been talking to people? Have you been talking to people? Because if you haven't, you don't get to participate in his solution. See, I'm participating in his solution because I'm talking to people. And it's there. I mean, it's just so simple. Like before I got into real estate, I heard all these horror stories. Like people would post on their Facebook how horrible and tough their job was as a real estate. At first, I was like, don't put that up there, because your next post is how you want people to buy from you, which is stupid. Okay, y'all with me? Be careful what you post. So, but what I'm saying is, why were they saying it was so horrible, so bad? I come over here, I got education and training, I got leads, I got the support, I got agent equity, I got so many things to fight for. Oh yeah, by the way, I got Daniel Ing and We Partners. I want y'all to hear me. Thursday, I have a listing appointment that I'm doing from a lead that I've been building leads, so I can give leads to my team. But I'm doing the lead on Thursday. Here's the cool thing. Because I'm part of We Partners, there's so many people in this room, and some are not in this room, that I can say, hey, will you put an eyeball on my listing, my selling, or my listing presentation? I can put so many eyeballs on that presentation. Say, what do you think? Am I saying the right thing? Am I doing the right stuff? What would you do? How would you go about this? The house is XYZ. It's this many square footage. And I got so many people that I can ask that question to. Glenn Sanford built the solution. This is the way for people who are only closing. Well, you can't get worse than 0, can you? Last year I closed -5. That doesn't work here, does it? Okay, so it can't get worse, but I mean, come on. This is the solution. Glenn built the solution where all of us can use everybody, talk to everybody, and put so many eyeballs. For starters, we could put 90,000 eyeballs on that listing if I wanted to. It's a little bit too much, but I can talk to some great people in here and say, hey, what do you think? Right? Am I doing the right thing? Am I saying the right thing? Right? Who wants that confidence going into an appointment? Right? That's just massive confidence. I mean, I am winning before I ever get there. Y'all with me? I don't know if I can do that at other organizations, but because Glenn built the solution here, I get to walk into that appointment Thursday just, yeah. You're going to list with me. I don't know how we say it, but you're going to sign right here. In insurance, I'd say, just give me a check. You're about to get some life insurance. No kidding. That's what I'd say. Especially when they'd say, I ain't buying nothing from you today. Oh, man, you just messed up. Now you're going to buy something from me, right? But I had confidence. You have so much confidence here. It's amazing. Now, here's what I'm going to warn you on and tell you, okay? Make a friend. If you can't remember this, you need to write down, make a friend before you need a friend. Make a friend before you need a friend. Don't be one of those people that comes into the solution, not make any friends with nobody, and ask everybody to do something for you. Can you do this for me? What about this? How do I do this? How do I do that? How do I do? If you barely know David, be careful. Maybe say, hey, David, great presentation today. Can I get you some tiramisu since clearly you like it? Y'all think I'm kidding? Find a place that will deliver tiramisu to his house. He's a wealth of, I'm not kidding. If y'all want knowledge from this man, those are the things you got to do. What can I do for you? How can I help you? How can I serve you? Because you need to make a friend. Sorry, I'm saying that wrong. You make a friend before you need a friend. Okay? So pay attention to the people in here that are kicking butt. Like, hey, I want to learn from that person one day. That's someone I want to learn from. Figure out what they like. Figure out what they want to do. Y'all with me? Okay. So, self-employed. Stay here for just a little while. Now, I was talking to Anna before the meeting started. The number one way to be better as a real estate agent, I'm going to say this slow so everybody gets it. The number one way for you to be better as a real estate agent doing more transactions is to bring someone into the business with you. We can argue about that all day and I'm going to win. I've been doing this 20 years. And I have seen it over and over and over and over again. Do you want to know why? Accountability is great. Thank you. What else? Spit some words out. Thank you. You're brand new. You're both scared, right? Yeah. I took my butt. Everybody around me knows I'm afraid of snakes. Definitely afraid of snakes. I run trails only when they are gone. But I'll do trail running during the winter, but I won't. But we were in Laredo, and they said, here's a trail. And I went to go run the trail. I'm afraid to death. And I asked this guy, will you go with me? Monica, he said, yeah, I'll go with you. I said, sweet. All of a sudden, Ken, I got brave. So brave because he was going with me. And then that fool was in front of me dancing like this. I go, what the hell are you doing? He goes, I'm afraid of snakes too. I said, then why did I go with you? But it didn't matter. We're both in it together. Thank you, collaboration, because you can do more things when you're with somebody. Think this is going to work? I don't know. Let's try it. I gotta be careful what I said there. High school popped into. Anybody else? Never mind. So, what else? What are some other reasons? Sorry, Scrib. Scrib caught it. Yes. If you want to go far, go together. That's good. So here's what I have recognized, and all those are great answers, by the way. No wrong answers there. But here's what I've recognized. I just told Anna this. When you bring someone in, you feel a responsibility to them. Therefore, you perform at a better level. You perform at a better level. And you all of a sudden start doing 25 talk tos. You're preaching it. You're talking to it. You better do it. Y'all with me? So much changes around you because you've made a commitment to someone, because you feel a responsibility to somebody. Anthony Kiedis, the lead singer of the Red Hot Chili Peppers, he's sober 25 years now, but he was 11 months into a sober journey, and he was about to throw it all away. He was about to just say, I'm done. And just 2 weeks prior to that, he was singing to 108,000 people in Mexico City. Just think about that. If y'all are singing to 108,000 people in Mexico City, they are mouthing the words to your song that you made. Would you feel pretty good about yourself? He wanted to die. That wasn't enough to live for. There was no connection. That wasn't enough to live for. But here's what prevented him. He was about to throw it all away. He was pulling out of his driveway, and before he pulled out of the driveway, he said, wait a minute, on Wednesday, I'm responsible to the AA group. It's my turn to set up the chairs. Here's a man living in one of the most beautiful houses in California, and what saved him was somebody else. He had a commitment to somebody else. I'm telling you right now, if you want to commit to your real estate career, bring somebody with you, because then it's so hard to quit. It's so hard to quit on somebody. It's easy. Guys, we quit on ourselves all the time. Think about it. Why do we hire personal trainers? Because we quit on ourselves. Well, I don't quit myself. Bullcrap. I will find something in your life you quit on yourself. All of us do, because we can do it so quietly and nobody knows. We can just slide on out, nobody knows. But when you bring somebody with you, I mean, here's Anthony. Everybody knows. Does anybody not know the name Red Hot Chili Peppers? Never heard of it? So here's a very, very diverse group of people in here, and everybody's heard that name. That wasn't enough to save his life. That wasn't enough. But it was a group of people that we'll never even know who they are or were, that were just as jacked up as him, right? Saved his life. Oh, Paul, this is too deep. No, I'm telling you, you might be able to save your life here. I ain't kidding. There might be something in this business that you get to build that might just save your life. No kidding. Thank God I didn't quit my old business, because that company helped me get sober. I'd be dead right now. You with me? But I brought people in immediately, and I stayed, and I grew a business, David. Please. I hear people say all the time, EXP nothing but a recruiting company. No, we're in the business of changing people. We're in the business of making an impact in people's lives. And oh yeah, by the way, we do recruiting. Thank you, God. Thank you, Glenn Sanford, for building this company for me. I don't got to wait 4 freaking years and work for some fool just because he passed a test. And only he gets to hire people and I don't. Glenn's like, we want everybody to be able to do it. Y'all with me? It excited me. Should excite y'all. It could literally save your life. We don't know how. But if you look at it that way, do you think you'll ever quit? Does anybody want to just name out a goal they have, a financial goal? Just yell it out. Has anybody got a financial, like a monthly goal, a yearly goal? Anybody? Yes. First millionaire in your family. Anybody got another goal, monthly, yearly? Yes, ma'am. How much? $250K a month. I like that. Do you know what that adds up to a year? All right. So I remember when someone told me what you just told me, I said, you realize you got to make $19,999 per week, and you got it. That's it. And when you break it down to that, it's like, that's simple. I can make $20,000 a week. No kidding. It's very easy. Okay. I'm getting carried away. So, greatest business in the world to be in with Glenn Sanford and EXP as a self-employed person. He's given us all the solutions. He is the solution man. And he's gone beyond solutions. Like Ken, he offers us health insurance. Now, I sold insurance for 20 years, so I figured I'd probably get better on my own. I don't need Glenn. But I looked into the EXP plan. Guess what? I'm on the EXP plan. I am. It's that good. I was like, crud, I can't even come close to this. I've been doing this 20 years. This is way better. So we got that. All right. We also have, this is the third pillar. I'm going to call it owner equity. Let's just call it equity. Anybody in here built a company? Peggy? David? What was your company, David?
XD Properties.
Were you able to, did you have agents working for you or people working for you? No? Did you have people working for you? I did. Anna, did you have people working for you? You did? How many people? 7? How many? 3? Were you able to offer them equity into your company? No one can. There's no way. It's impossible. But Glenn goes, we got to be able to offer it. So there's several ways you can get equity in this company. Number one is you become an icon producer. Okay. Do you know that we get 49 or 94 icon producers a day? I'm real bad with numbers. 49. I want y'all to think about this for a second. 49 people a day become an icon producer here at EXP. You want to tell me we're a recruiting company? That's pretty good, isn't it? 49 a day. That's insane. And then they get more stock in the company. Okay. Now, there's other ways you can do it. You can do your first deal. We'll call it first deal. The other way is what? One of your people that you bring in does a transaction. They get one, you get one. You can purchase it at a discount. Like you could purchase it at 5% discount. Some of y'all, nah, I'll buy Bitcoin. Don't do that. You get a discount. Buy it at the 5% discount, okay? And what are the other ways? We just had icon. Cap, thank you. When you cap, I mean, if we're producing, oh, by the way, an icon producer, this is what they do. First, they got a cap. They do about 4 or 5 deals. Some do 6 or 7, whatever it takes. And then they do another 20 additional deals, and then they become an icon producer. Go with me? Like we should be rolling out icon producers in this room every week, right? I mean, it's not that difficult. It's proven not to be that difficult. When I saw those numbers, 49 a day, I was like, hey, it ain't that hard. I knew it wasn't that hard. I just had to see it, and now I know it. It's not that hard. And now you're on a higher contract, right? I'll explain that in a second. Okay, so these are the ways you get owner equity. Glenn says, hey, if I'm going to build something big, I want to be able to give ownership equity to the entire group. 65% of the agents here at EXP buy into this program, buy into company stock. Y'all with me? Please don't overthink that one. Okay. So anybody in here brand new, never heard of EXP? You're hearing about EXP for the very first time. You've heard of EXP? Are you? Okay, cool. Thank you. So here's how it works. There's more, but you were just brave enough to answer, raise your hand. Thank you. So what happens is you go out and do a deal and you get 80%. Whoa, that's not a percent right there. So on average, in Dallas, $500,000 is the home you're going to sell either at or buy. Okay, 3% of that comes to $15,000. Y'all with me? Simple enough. 80% of that is what? $12,000. Am I correct? Is my numbers right? So this is your money. Okay, not bad. Now, if I could just get you to do 4 or 5 of these deals, then what we do is take out the 80%. We call it 100%. And Paul's got last math to do. Can we all please just go to 100% so I can quit doing so much math? Y'all with me? That's how simple it is. Just if y'all could just do that for us. Everybody go to 100%. Then we just do one number. 15,000 times 100% is what? I can do this without y'all. $15,000. Okay? That's a pretty good deal. And everybody in here has that ability. Not like, well, you know, you're on. No, everybody. Everybody go to 100%. Okay? Now, here's where it gets even gooder. Y'all with me? When you do icon, I'm not even going to try to do the numbers. It's actually 100% plus. We offer a 100% plus contract here because when you go icon, you get $16,000 in stock. Now that alone right there, I want to go for it. I just want the $16,000 in stock every year. Why not? Setting up for my future, kids' future. Y'all with me? Just go for it. Is that clear to everybody? Because when I start doing numbers, I get really worried. Okay. Now let's talk about the last thing, being a business owner. So here we go. We went from E to S to B to I. I is investor, okay? We're not even going to hit on investor right now. I'll tell you who's an investor in this room. It's Daniel Ng. Him and his family own about 50 properties. He's an investor. It's a whole different ballgame. We're not even going to go there right now, okay? Here's where I want everybody to dream about. People tell me, I dream about financial freedom. Why? I want you to dream about time freedom. I want you to take a 2-month trip to Europe and come back and your business bigger. Who wants that? Everybody earlier said they wanted that. Okay. We got the easiest, simplest business hierarchy model in the world. I've been in this world for 20 years doing this in insurance. It's identical to insurance, and I'm going to show it to you real quick. And it's so simple, okay? And I beg you, don't confuse it. Someone's going to come confuse it. Well, what about this? I'm telling you right now, I need you to play big. I need you to think big. What I want you to do is this is the same exact numbers, Anna, that we showed on the other one with the 25 talk tos. Now I just want you to talk to 25 people about this. How do you do that? How do you talk to a complete stranger about this? You ready? You kind of don't. Here's what you do. Hey, we're doing a meeting next Wednesday. Good friend of mine, Daniel Ng, will be doing it. I just want you to meet everybody and shut up. And if they ask questions, say, I really want to answer that question. But my man, Daniel, he's been doing this a long time. I want you to meet him. And keep doing that. And some of y'all are saying, you can't do that to everybody. Listen, I sold my company for 8 figures, and Colin Hugh did that to me. He walked into my office in Louisville, Texas. He goes, what you going to do next? I said, I'm going to Grand Cayman here in a couple of weeks. I don't know after that. I said, I'm going to retire for a little bit for what I want to do. I said, I built teams in financial services, life insurance, and annuities, and we had a blast from coast to coast. It was amazing what we built. Loved it, loved every bit of it. Hung out with the coolest people in the world. And he says, do you want to do that in real estate? I said, you can't. I said, I've looked into it. You gotta be a broker, or you gotta buy a franchise, or you gotta do this. I've looked into it. Can't be done. He says, will you do me a favor? Will you come meet my business partners tomorrow, Calvin Wong and Daniel Ng? And I asked him a couple more times, Jason, tell me about it, man. Tell me, come on. Tell me more. Because if I can't build coast to coast, I'm a tough dude. I build coast to coast. I'm bad to the bone, man. He could have easily said right then and there, yeah, little boy, not only are we in all 50 states, but we're in 27 countries. But he didn't. He said, I need you to come meet my business partners, Calvin Wong and Daniel Ng. That was it. And when he said that like the third or fourth time, in my head, I was like, this is going to be good. Because I've been teaching people for 20 years to do what you just told me you just did. This is going to be way bigger than I ever thought possible. So I meet these 2 gentlemen. And as Daniel was telling me, and he got to the 4th pillar about revenue share. This is the 4th pillar. Where'd my business model go? Yeah. Am I just things disappearing as I'm talking? Yeah, there we go. This is the 4th pillar, building a business, revenue share. Okay. And as they're talking, I texted my pastor and I said, I found it in capital letters. I found it. I can do the exact same thing in real estate that I did in insurance. And now I get to do it completely different. Y'all know why? Anybody want to guess? I can feed my kids now. Everybody's good. We got a lot of money. So different, but it's the same because now I have the opportunity just to bring people in and help impact their lives and change their lives. This same system got me to a table in downtown Dallas, the largest financial services company in the world, and they bought my company. I can teach people to do the same thing here now in real estate. I'm on a mission. I'm living a dream right now because I know this can be done. So here's how it works. You invite a bunch of people. I would invite 12. Don't mess up my numbers. Don't argue with me. You can't beat the numbers and the numbers can't beat you. Quit trying. Like right now, some people are saying, I can do better than 25. I only need to talk to 10 people. They were quality. They were gooder than what he was talking about. They were good quality people. Don't do it. You can't beat the numbers. The numbers can't beat you. Okay. So get you 12 people. Just invite. Is that 12? Let's just act like it is. You invite 12 people. Get them around Daniel. Get them around someone that knows what they're talking about building a business. Do whatever you got to do, but just get you 12 people. This is what's going to happen. These 4 are going to be crazy nut jobs like me. One of them's going to be just insane. This one's going to be insane. This one, what I mean by insane is they're going to see this business opportunity and they ain't going to be able to sleep at night. They're like, holy cow. I was like, I now have an opportunity to have thousands and thousands and thousands of people looking at their phone saying, I don't want to die. I want to live another day. I can call Paul Roberts because I've heard his story. I can do that now. I got chills as I said that to y'all. I can do that now. I can do that here with this model. So what happens is typically these people, if you're going to have like 10,000 people on your team, 7,000 are coming from here. The other 3,000 will come from here somehow, some way. And here's the beauty of it. You're not responsible for everybody. You're not. Bring them in. Show them the solution that Glenn built. If they don't see it, that's okay. Guys, there's some people that would starve in a grocery store. I'm not kidding you. They would literally starve in a grocery store. Everything would be at their fingertips and they would still starve. You can't help everybody. This is the solution. Get them around the fire, get them around people, and it all works out, I promise. Now, how do you make money when you bring people in? I'm not going to go too deep into that. If you want to know more, hang around after. Daniel will show you the exact breakdown. But be very careful. Never look at people as dollar signs. Whenever you look at people as dollar signs, you're done. It's over with. I watch people in my insurance business. They do it all the time. What override am I going to get on Brittany's deal? You just quit now, please. Just walk away right now. This deal's done. Okay. But I'll briefly, just quickly say this. You earn about $400 each time someone does something. Don't raise your hand and say, I earned $239 in my last one. I'm just at average $400. Don't fight it. Okay. Now you're trying to beat the numbers. Just don't do it. Okay. Just keep bringing them in, bringing them in, bringing them in. Now, this is what I mean by when I say some people will starve in a grocery store, because we are in a grocery store. What's the best grocery store around here? H-E-B. Anybody want to argue with David? Nope. Okay, so David says H-E-B. Y'all have agreed with him, H-E-B. Can anybody starve in H-E-B? Yeah, you'd be surprised. You will be surprised. This is what Glenn's created. This is you, and you have over 2,000 freaking people that have a vested interest. That's money. You have 2,000 employees. It's more than 2,000, by the way, but it's over 2,000. You have over 2,000 people that got a vested interest in helping you. Brokers, employees, marketing people, sales people, growth people, helping you grow your business people. If I have someone I'm talking to, I can call this number and get someone from the growth team to talk to this person, and I just get to sit back and shut up and say nothing. And they bring them in. And let's say that one person brings in 600 people. Was that hard work, guys? Did I do any heavy lifting? Did I dig a ditch? Did I hurt anything? No, I just said, hey, bro, you need to talk to this guy, Russ. Dude, I think it's going to work out for you. You need to talk to this guy named Tony. You need to talk to this guy named Daniel. Y'all, is this making sense? Don't complicate this thing. I don't know how to recruit people because I don't know what I'm doing. Neither did I. I bought 14 people in my first week, or my first couple of weeks. I didn't know what I was doing. Y'all just come check this out. It works. Y'all with me? And then I promise you, but listen, y'all said HEB. This is the HEB. It is. You got 2,000 people helping your one person. Think about that. Over and over and over and over again. I'm going to end on this. You got to dream, though. I talked about it already, but if you're not dreaming, and I'm interviewing a lot of real estate agents, and a lot of them are beaten down because 2024 was a tough year. Am I right? Was that a bad year? It was a tough year. Am I the only one agreeing to this? Me and David? Yeah, it was a tough year, right? And they tell me that. And the moment they tell me that, I know they're in trouble. Stop playing small. Quit talking about 2024. It's over with. It's done. Nothing you can do about it. But you can talk to 25 people this week. You can't talk to 25 people next week. You can't talk to 25 people the following week. You can't talk to 25 the following week. You keep doing that. But if your dream's not big enough, that 25 seems crazy. If you want to make $250,000, 25, no big deal. She was one of the only few that raised her hand when I said do 25 a week, right? Because the dream is big. When the dream is massive, you can do anything. Y'all with me? So please, get with somebody in your life that will teach you how to dream. They can start small, like I just want to feed the kids this week. Okay? And then get a little bigger, and a little bigger, and a little bigger. Thank y'all so much for having me. Thank you, Daniel Ng, for building We Partners, because without We Partners, I don't know what I'd be doing. I'd be bored to death. Thank God I met this man. I met what he built, the heart of these people, the heart of this team. It's unheard of. It's absolutely unheard of what you can do here with the amount of people you can do it with. You don't even know how to spell real estate, and you can be successful here because the people around here with what Daniel Ng has built. Love you guys. Go get yours. I'm getting mine. Adios. Thank you, Daniel. Do you have the heater on?
Yeah. I had the AC on, but I turned it off. Okay. All right, thank you. All right. Thank you. That's it. And so every Wednesday we have a what's next week, Jennifer? Who do we have? What's going on next week, Wednesday?
Oh, next week is Anna. Anna Cantu. Anna Cantu teaching on our lead machine. It's just a massive lead machine. If you want to know how to use it to put leads in there for it to spit out and do stuff for you, you definitely want to be here next. Oh, wait a minute. Or is that Gabby next week? I am wrong. It's not Gabby. I'm looking at Gabby. It's Katie. Katie's next week. Yeah, it's Katie, then Anna, because Anna's when we're in Cabo. It is Katie next. Katie next week. Okay, I sit down with her and what we're talking about. I remember this now. Katie's gonna mess y'all up next week. You've got to be here. Okay, she's completely different teacher than I am. Completely different teacher than David. You don't want to miss it. Okay, because this is our leadership development training right here. You don't want to miss Katie. Gabby, when are you next? I said your name, so clearly I'm pulling for you to come up here and teach. What are you going to teach next week? Or we're 3 weeks away. What do you want to teach on? Can I help you? You and Ernesto have been through a lot of challenges with what y'all have going back home, but you're still showing up and working every day. Do you realize people stubbed their toe this morning or staying in bed? Okay, so I think we need to talk about something like that because y'all been through some crazy stuff that people don't know about. Like, would y'all share some of that with us? Like the deep, the ugly. Okay, this is Jason. She's like an excuse buster. You know, like when you don't want to get out of bed and work out in the morning, but you turn on Goggins and you're like, crap, I gotta get out of bed now. That idiot just ran 2,000 miles before lunch. I got to do it now, right? Gabby's going to do this to you in a couple of weeks. You're going to look at it and say, I thought my life was difficult. I thought it was challenging. But oh, dear Lord, what her and Ernesto are going through. Can we do that? Thank you. Give Gabby a hand. Yeah. This is how we got her committed. Who else am I going to get? No one's making eye contact with me now. Oh, shit.
Sorry, I appreciate it. All right, thank you. And then for those that are new or haven't seen for a while, thanks for coming. There's a lot of excitement. We had leadership, Glenn Sanford, Leo Pereira, our CEO. All the big leaders flew in to Dallas on Monday. There's some big announcements that's going to be. We're publicly traded, so we can't really share too much. But in April they'll announce, and then there'll be some kind of cool things that we can with the because there's so many organizations in EXP. There's some things that we can kind of cross paths together. So it's kind of exciting for me because I know a lot of great people in EXP and they're shareholders. We're all owners, but now we can kind of commingle in a sense together, which is kind of cool. So I'm excited for that. So thank you. Come back next Wednesday. Invite a friend. If you know a bigger office building, because our space is getting smaller and smaller every week, I might have to tear this wall down, kick Charlie and Alex out, and then just expand the training room. So thank you.